All right, so today we're going deep on Bukayo Saka.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, right? You set up a really interesting set of sources for this.
Yeah, I did. I thought it would be a good time to sort of check in on him, see where he's at, with everything that's happened this season.
Yeah. So we give stuff about his recent performances, obviously, that it's a pretty serious injury, the recovery, and then how he stacks up against other top wingers in the world.
There's some good comparisons in there.
So we cut through all the noise, try to give everyone listening the real key insights into where he stands now and what his future might hold.
Yeah, it's a fascinating story, really, when you start to dig into it. I mean, born in London, September 2001.
Okay.
Nigerian parents. And just the fact that he's risen so quickly through the Arsenal Academy to become, absolutely crucial for both club and country. I mean, it's quite the story.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's jump right in. Last season, 2023-2024.
Okay.
The numbers are pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, they are.
So 35 starts in the Premier League, basically played every game, and he was Arsenal's top scorer with 16 league goals.
Wow.
Plus another 4 in the Champions League. And then on top of that, 9 assists in the Premier League.
Yeah.
4 in the Champions League.
It was everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that really sticks out to me is just the consistency.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, playing almost every single minute at that level.
Right.
It really just shows you how important he is to that team. And
invaluable, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and, top scorer becoming, I think, the 4th youngest ever to captain Arsenal.
Oh, wow.
Those are big, big signs of how much influence he has, and obviously...
Yeah, and that goal of the season against Nottingham Forest.
Oh,
I mean, come on.
Spectacular.
That was amazing.
It really was.
And he won Arsenal's Player of the Year for the 2nd time running.
Back to back. I mean, that just cements, the impact he has on that club.
Yeah, so that amazing form carried right into this season, 2024-2025, before that hamstring injury.
Yeah, right before.
So in just 18 Premier League starts.
Okay. 5
goals, and then a ridiculous 10 assists already.
And it felt like he was on track for an even bigger year.
For sure.
Yeah, those 15-goal involvement in just 16 league games. I mean, that's...
And that's goals plus assists, right?
Exactly, yeah. Goals and assists combined.
Just to be clear for everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's incredible. I mean...
Well, and a goal or an assist in 12 of his first 16 league matches, that just shows you that elite level of production he's capable of.
Yeah.
And even with... some key teammates being out injured, he was still such a threat.
Yeah.
I mean, that Crystal Palace game where he got a goal and an assist really underlined his quality just before the setback.
Right before, yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah, so that hamstring injury against Crystal Palace back in December.
Oh, man.
What a massive blow for Arsenal.
Huge, huge blow.
A torn hamstring needed surgery.
Yeah.
The initial timeline was what, more than 2 months?
Yeah, they said many, many weeks, I think, which was obviously concerning.
And so 22 goal involvements in 22 games, that is a lot to try to replace.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to replace that kind of production. And, actually, one of the analytical reports you sent mentioned that Arsenal's expected goals dropped by about 15% in the 5 matches straight after Saka's injury.
Oh, wow.
So
that's a big chunk.
Yeah, that just really shows you how much of an impact he has when he's on the pitch.
So let's bring it up to today, March 28th. 2025. So he's been out for, about 97 days now?
Yeah, something like that.
But the good news is he's been back on the grass since early March, working with the ball, even doing some light training in Dubai. And Arteta seemed pretty optimistic back in the middle of March, saying that there was a good chance he could be back after the international break.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yes.
And the latest news is that he's actually back in full training.
Oh, wow.
As of yesterday.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's a really big step forward.
Oh.
But understandably, Arsenal are going to be very careful with him.
Right.
They don't want to risk him, re-injuring himself.
Of course. Of course. Okay. So it's always interesting to see how players stack up against each other.
Yeah, for sure.
So, looking at some of the other top wingers in the world, Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Salah Foden, a few things jump out right. Mbappe is a phenomenal goal scorer.
Oh, he's a machine.
But Saka's assist numbers are really, really strong.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got a lot of versatility.
Yeah, he can play in a number of different positions and be effective, which is really valuable. It's actually really interesting when you look at the data side by side.
Oh, okay.
So while Mbappe scores more goals,
Right.
Saka's assist rate per 90 minutes is actually higher than Mbappe's this season.
Really?
Yeah, according to one of the sources you shared. And then you compare him to Vinicius Jr., who's obviously got all that flair.
Yeah, incredible dribbling.
Unbelievable. But Saka's pass completion rate in the final third has been consistently 5 to 7% higher over the last 2 seasons.
Wow.
Which suggests that he's maybe a little more reliable when it comes to building up attacks.
Okay, interesting.
And then you've got Salah, who I think is still the gold standard for right wingers in terms of, just overall production. But Saka's improving so rapidly that, he's on track to potentially close that gap.
He's on his way.
He's on his way. And then you've got Foden, who's obviously won a lot more trophies.
Yeah.
But Saka has to shoulder a much heavier creative burden for Arsenal.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then you factor in his age.
Only 23.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got so much potential still.
So even with the injury, it sounds like Saka is right up there
yeah,
with the best wingers in the world.
Absolutely.
Offering that, mix of goals, assists, and just a ridiculous work rate.
That's what sets him apart. I think that work rate is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
His potential to reach the very top is undeniable.
For sure. Okay, so any news on when he might actually be back on the pitch?
Well, the Fulham game on April 1st is the earliest possibility, and Arteta has hinted that he could be involved.
Right.
But I think realistically, a full return is more likely around mid-April, maybe, against Brentford, or in that second leg against Real Madrid.
Right. With those massive games coming up.
Huge.
And, the risk of re-injury, I'm sure Arsenal are going to manage his return very, very carefully.
Oh, yeah, they have to. So
no point rushing him back.
It's been so interesting to track his progress this season.
He's such an exciting player.
And, his return is going to be a massive boost for Arsenal's ambitions.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think this whole thing just really highlights how a player's overall contribution,
right.
The goals plus the assists, the work rate, all of it.
Yeah.
It can be just as valuable, if not more valuable, than just, banging in goals.
Definitely.
Thanks for this. It's been a great deep dive.
My pleasure.
It leaves you wondering just how high Saka's ceiling really is, considering everything he's already done at such a young age.
Absolutely. He's one to watch, that's for sure.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening.
See ya.